Hey guys, Dom here, back again with my first Outer Worlds video. Yes, that's right, seeing as I'm mainly a Bethesda channel, I don't usually cover games outside of BGS. But for me, there was always going to be one exception, and that exception for me was the Outer Worlds. Now, I have to admit, the first time I saw the Outer Worlds, I was like, okay. But as soon as I started to hear the first coverage of the Outer Worlds and watched all of the trailers and all of the interviews and the feedback, more importantly, that my own friends here on YouTube had experienced with the game, my hype is
immeasurable, and my day is
It's time for hype!
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
How are you? I am under the water.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Every night.
To have 16 times the detail.
And my arm. Even my fingers. The body I've lost. The comrades I've lost. Won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
Please help me. Here too much raining.
That's right, you guys wanted it. I wanted to do it for the longest time, but I am now going to be covering Obsidian's The Outer Worlds here on this channel going forward. And the topic of today's discussion is, what does The Outer Worlds do better, and how Obsidian have seemingly made a better game than both Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. Now, the reason I bring Fallout New Vegas into this video is because while Obsidian did develop Fallout New Vegas, certain design choices, mechanics, and systems were still being overlooked by Bethesda game studios during development. So I wanted to compare and see how much better the game and its mechanics were with Obsidian having complete control over this brand new IP. Now, before I begin, I do have to clarify, and if it is not obvious by the content here on this channel, but in case you are new here, Fallout is one of, if not my favorite franchise of all time. Fallout 3 is my favorite game of all time, and of course Fallout New Vegas holds a special place in my heart. So it goes without saying how excited I got to hear Obsidian talk about how The Outer Worlds is a spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas. And I believe not only is this the successor to Fallout New Vegas, but also may have taken over the limelight of Fallout 4. And here's how. Now, just to state that I unfortunately haven't had the privilege of playing The Outer Worlds yet, but fortunately for me, I do have a ton of content creator friends that have had their hands on The Outer Worlds. And with that, we have spoken extensively about The Outer Worlds. Besides this, I have gone through every piece of gameplay footage, every interview, every trailer to reach these following conclusions about how The Outer Worlds will be a successor to the Fallout franchise. Starting off with the most prominent feature with The Outer Worlds, and that's its dialogue system. Now, unlike Fallout 4, which featured a voiced protagonist, The Outer Worlds have opted for a more traditional approach and have kept a silent protagonist. And it seems Obsidian have all in all made the right choice, with the dialogue system being praised as The Outer Worlds' greatest strength. with dozens upon dozens of branching dialogue trees completely situated upon the conversation you are having. This greatly enriches the role-playing experience within this game. Again, unlike Fallout 4 where every piece of dialogue was voice acted, with your voiced protagonist limiting each response and taking away a huge portion of player choice. We have to remember that each line of dialogue would have had to have been paid for by Bethesda Game Studios, and doing more diverse branching dialogue trees would have cost Bethesda Game Studios more and more to have to keep paying and bringing back the voice actor to record more lines. Although The Outer Worlds simply doesn't just have good, bad, or neutral dialogue options, the system is a lot more fleshed out and deepens the conversations themselves and feel more like you're speaking to an actual person instead of a quest giver or some random NPC. Speaking to someone in the right way and diving into the branching dialogue trees, you can also unlock certain quests that may not have been logged or available to you if you had not chosen that branching tree. All in all, Obsidian have taken their dialogue traits from Fallout New Vegas and have blown them out of the water. The writing is simply amazing and humorous. It really opens the game up to roleplay as whoever you choose to be. Now, there are even more dialogue improvements within my next reason The Outer Worlds will overthrow Fallout, and that is more dynamic and fleshed out companions. Now, while Fallout 4 made a huge effort to make companions within the game more than just someone who could carry your stuff whilst you were over encumbered, Bethesda fleshed out the companions in Fallout 4, giving them each a unique quest line, each with their own backstory and struggles to which you could opt in to help them, making the companions in Fallout 4 more believable in the world you were inhabited in. And now with The Outer Worlds, Obsidian have taken the same system and have taken a giant leap forward. Companions in The Outer Worlds are way more dynamic, each again with their own complex emotions, which could even help or hinder you, as for example companions can actually interject whilst you are speaking to someone, but in an actual meaningful way. For example, if your companion has a high skill in bartering and let's say you didn't, your companion could actually use their skills in dialogue to help you receive a better price for a weapon or armor piece, and all in all a better outcome during dialogue. Companions also have more familiar traits like their own unique questline, their own fighting style, and a special attack. It's also been noted that companions can actually argue with strangers or NPCs, interjecting meaningful and emotional dialogue, creating these situations where a companion can actually end up leaving your party as a result of said argument if you choose to side with them or the person they are arguing with. Another example given to me is where a companion actually noticed someone out in the world that they actually knew throughout this world, leading them to run towards one another, initiating a conversation naturally between them and your party. A design choice like this really opens up the world and really immerses you within the world around you as a much more natural and believable place. Next up, we have better quest design. Now, while Fallout 4 had a ton of amazing quest lines, it did fall victim to some basic fetch quests within the majority of its side quests, where you're either taking down some outpost or retrieving some item with no real unique story or plot behind it, unlike Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Although from what I've seen and heard from my friends who have played The Outer Worlds, they say that the quests in The Outer World feel a lot more varied, and each quest was truly different and unique from one another. Of course, while there are quest givers like in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, there are a lot more quests for you to discover and stumble across throughout your travels. Each quest in its own way feels open-ended, giving you a plethora of ways to complete them. And hell, even if you don't want to finish or start this quest, you can actually have the option to shoot the quest giver and possibly just loot the reward from their body if you wanted. Which then leads me to my next topic, which is better overall role-playing. Now, while role-playing has always been a staple of Bethesda Game Studios titles, although in Fallout 4, regarding its stats and character building, the game was kind of designed for your character to become a jack of all trades, unlike previous BGS titles, where you could truly create a character filled with its own strengths and weaknesses. While Obsidian, on the other hand, has taken their leveling system directly from Fallout New Vegas, with a plethora of points you can directly input into any skill you want each time you leveled up, or by boosting your attributes by naturally using them, helping you create and roleplay the perfect character you want to play as within this game. Or of course, alongside this, we can find a variety of perks to help you enhance your playstyle. Another feature Obsidian have added into their role-playing mechanics is the brand new flaw system, a system in which your character can develop certain flaws after too many traumatic experiences or defeats, which you can actually permanently keep in exchange for perk points, again adding another layer to their role-playing system. Now, again, I have to say that the first time I saw the Outer Worlds trailer, when it was first revealed, I was completely sold on the idea that you could choose to either be good, bad, or a psychopath, as to me that sounded like the more traditional versions of Fallout. But to see how Obsidian have developed the idea of player choice and blown it out of the water, not only by how you choose to complete a quest or the main campaign, but with everything you do, the role-playing aspects, the multiple ways you can complete quests, the branching dialogue trees, and so much more that I've heard from this great game. Everything in this game is created with you in mind, and that's why I believe in my heart of hearts that the Outer Worlds will succeed and be the spiritual successor of not only Fallout New Vegas, but will succeed over Fallout 4 as well. But anyway guys, what do you guys think? With the Outer Worlds coming out next month, do you feel like it will be better than Fallout? Let me know in the comments down below. Best ones get featured in the credits of these videos. Also, gain some good karma and consider supporting the Patreon. And if you liked this video, hit VATS on that like and subscribe button. And as always, are you experiencing anything that can be misconstrued as explosive cell death?